This on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay. Like to call to order the Gary Sanitary District meeting, February 5th, 2024. Will everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we have roll call.
Commissioner William Allen,
Present.
Commissioner Ola Morris, Commissioner Maurice Mabon,
Present.
Commissioner Darnell Lyles, Commissioner William Cook,
Present.
Attorney Jewel Harris Jr.,
Present.
Executive Director Rhonda Anderson, Finance Manager Jerome Foster.
Present.
And that's the end of roll call.
Thank you. We have a quorum. Moving on to certification. Pursuant to Indiana law, section 5-14-1.5-6.1, I certify that prior to the start of today's meeting, there was an executive session held, and there was nothing discussed in the executive session that was not indicated on the posted notice. And being in compliance with Indiana statutes, there was no final votes held during the executive session. Does any board member dissent? Hearing none, moving on. What is the pleasure of the minutes? 1.1.
Mr. President, I make a motion that the executive session and regular meeting minutes of January 22, 2024 be accepted. Approved.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Motion has been made and properly second. Moving on to new business, we have, sorry.
Discussion and roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles. Commissioner Mabon.
Yes.
Commissioner Morris. Commissioner Allen.
Yes,
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
motion passes. Moving on to new business, 2.1.
Thank you. I recommend a motion to approve and ratify GSD payroll earnings for period ending January 1, 2024 through January 14th, 2024 in amount of $269,882.22.
Do we have any questions or comments? All right, hearing none. What is the pleasure of the board?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and second. Roll call.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles. Commissioner Mabon.
Yes.
Commissioner Morris. Commissioner Allen.
Yes,
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
2.1 passes. Moving on to 2.2. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none. What is the pleasure of the board?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second?
I second it, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and second. Roll call.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles. Commissioner Mabon.
Yes.
Commissioner Morris. Commissioner Allen.
I'm going to defer item 2.3. 2.3 though.
2.2. We just need to vote.
Oh, roll call.
You want me to do it again, sir?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles. Commissioner Mabon.
Yes.
Commissioner Morris. Commissioner Allen.
Yeah,
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
okay, motion passes.
So that's a motion to defer 2.3? Oh, which one? Oh, we're still on 2.2. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
And unless there's any objection, the chair can defer item 2.3 to the next meeting. Unless there's an objection, you don't have to have a roll call vote to defer it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so, moving on to 2.4.
King would like to elaborate on that come forward. This is a sole source purchase. We do have a sole source letter and also Mr. Allen the form that, reference that.
Sanderson, is that's our largest volume pump station, isn't it? Okay.
Are there any additional comments, questions? No? All right, hearing none, what is the pleasure of the board?
Well, second.
Motion's been made and second. Roll call?
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Liles. Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris. Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion passes. Moving on to 2.5.
April 2024, final. So the substantial date is scheduled for December 23rd, but with this agreement is an obligation by one of the ballot to provide training for our instrumentation team. As they are they will maintain the, system once one of the sites is done, and there's a substantial training that is needed, and that training could not be scheduled, sooner, and so they're asking for an extension of the process. And probably to the answer in the police that have that recommend.
Questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. Well, what is the pleasure of the board?
Well, second.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call?
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Liles. Commissioner Maybon.
Yes.
Commissioner Morris. Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion passes for 2.5. Moving on to claims, 3.1.
Thank you. Recommend a motion to approve and ratify GSD claim numbers 294 through 539, in the amount of $2,163,481.02.
Mr. Foster, a couple questions for you on claims. And I know we can't just pick and choose. We have to blanketly approve the claims. But I'm noticing on here for Sweeney, we've got basically $35,000 worth of invoices here. Do we have a standard agreement with them? Do we look at their agreement yearly? I know they're not professional service or contractual services. Is that something that this board needs to review at some point in time? And the second thing on here, I'm looking at on the first page, we have a invoice for $428,000 for Andret's separation. Did that come before the board? Beg your pardon? Okay. Okay. Now, back to 20. All the invoices that are populated at one time there. What's going on with that, Mr. Foster?
The nature of the work for Sweeney, you can help me out here a little bit. There are electrical, I'll say company services that provide electrical maintenance throughout the plant.
Do we ever check their rate? When's the last time we checked the rate? Okay, so we're paying them approximately $400,000 a year for electrical services.
Here.
You want my opinion?
Yes.
All right. So I think this work probably developed over time. And if it's going to be consistent like this going forward, I think that does trigger a requirement to look at including it in a procurement process. I don't know that that's necessarily how it started, but now that we know where we are and you're looking at the numbers of what it amounts to, even if on a periodic basis, I think the board has an obligation to instruct staff to look at how we want to procure for those services. And if there's a way to develop a scope of work that makes sense for an RFP, then that's something that we can
Okay.
get out there and advertise. The whole goal is for the process to be competitive so that we get the benefit of the best rate possible.
Well, I think we need to do that going forward. You agree, Mr. Allen?
I agree. Are there any other questions or comments? What is the pleasure of the board?
So move. Mr. Chair?
Is there a second?
I second it.
Motion has been made and second. Roll call?
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Lyles, Commissioner Maybon,
Yes.
Commissioner Morris,
Yes.
Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion passes. Moving on to information updates, we have 4.1 plant activities. Ms. Anderson?
And CSO discharge monitoring reports were submitted to the VA Central Data Exchange on December 7th, prior to the January 28th due date. The next regulatory report is the semi-annual Pacific Progress Report, which I am process of working on and will be prior to the due date. ISD hosted the Northwest Indiana Operators Association January meeting. We had wastewater professionals from Chesterton, Chicago, and Michigan City, and we heard a presentation on how to design wastewater treatment plant loans, and we earned our CUs. And this is like the most economical way for us to earn CUs. If you go online and try to earn CUs, they're like $20 per CU. But this organization, we pay $25 for the year, and that covers at least 10 CUs. And so it's very economical, and it includes lunch. So it's a good organization, and we network with water utilities, wastewater utilities from Northwest Indiana, and we've been able to help each other out for different situations. Our OSHA Form 300A, which is a form that OSHA requires, and it's a summary of all the OSHA reportables that we have for the year. and it was posted as required, and we only had 2 for the 2023 this year, so. And we have to do it.
Any questions or comments? All right, thank you. Moving on, 4.2, construction activities, Mr. Eric Tonk.
Good morning, Board. I'm just going to have a brief update, which is not very much to update due to the winter season. The construction is shut down, except for the 27th Chase Street bar screen replacement project. Again, the manufacturer is preparing the new bar screens, and they should be hopefully being shipped shortly. A progress meeting is scheduled for the next week or 2 weeks, so I'll have more information after the next progress meeting.
Any comments, any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have 4.3, American Structure Point.
Good morning, Board. John Tucker, Structure Point. As far as our sanitary projects, as Mr. Tong mentioned, we are on hold for the winter. Shut down for 27th and Chase Force Main Project Phase 2. Last schedule update was they were looking to resume sometime in April, still waiting for some fitting. So if there's any other questions or that I may be able to answer, I'd be happy to.
Any questions, any comments? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have 4.4, CDM Smith.
Good morning, Board. Matt Bednarski with CDM Smith. I do not have any additional updates from what you've already heard, but happy to answer questions if you have them.
All right, Aaron. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to discussion. Is there anything that the members would like to discuss at this time?
I think we've, at some point in the future, we'll start to get compliance reports, because we haven't got a compliance report the last couple meetings. So that's something that's going to be forthcoming, I guess. Is there anybody here? Is there anybody? Yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess that's something I'll take a look into then.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, moving on. Are there any requests to speak?
Yes, we have one, Mr. John Slater.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
My name is John Slater. I am the president of Performance Chemicals and Supply. Back in 2019, we acquired Ajax Sanitary Supply, a long stalwart of the city of Gary. They were established in 1958, and the brothers decided to sell the business, and we came in and bought it. The reason I'm here today is it was interesting listening about the electrical project and making sure we're getting the best pricing and getting the biggest bang for our buck. We are a member of a member-owned distributor purchasing group. So we team up with the premier manufacturers in our industry, and we private label under our Triple S brand. We have just recently teamed up with the Purchasing Cooperative of America, which is a national purchasing co-op. So we are out trying to promote to our customers, and obviously municipalities fall into this category, that we can allow you to enjoy national contract pricing, but yet have local service that you expect and deserve from your suppliers. The contracts are bid out nationally, full transparency. They're legal in every state in the United States of America, so you don't need to actually perform your own bid. You're not obligated to buy off of the bid, but we are highly recommending that you join the co-op. We can quote your items, and at least you have a baseline to look at to see if you're getting a good deal. So it just takes a lot of work off the plate of procurement, especially in municipalities and that have several different departments. There's lots of different players involved. And this kind of gives you a ability to streamline your purchasing, and just makes a lot of sense, and people are jumping on board. So that's all I have to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have you been introduced to Mr. Causey?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right. You're always working.
Are there any other requests to speak?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Moving on. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So move, Mr. Chair.
All right, meeting adjourned. To get started. Okay, thank you, everybody. Would like to call to order the Gary Stormwater Management District meeting. Today is February 5th, 2024. Roll call.
Director William Allen.
Present.
Director Ola Morris. Director Maurice Mabon.
Present.
Director Darnell Lyles.
Present.
Director William Cook. Attorney Jewel Harris Jr.
Present.
Executive Director Rhonda Anderson. Finance Manager Jerome Foster.
Present.
And that's the end of roll call.
All right, we have a quorum. Moving on to certification. We did not have a executive session for stormwater. Okay, so moving on to minutes.
Get caught. Okay. Make a motion that that the executive session, regular minute meetings of Gary Stormwater, January 22nd, 2024, be accepted and approved.
Is there a second? Motion's been made and second. Roll call.
Director Cook. Director Lyles.
Yes.
Director Mabon.
Yes.
Director Morris. Director Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion passes. Moving on to new business, 2.1.
Thank you. Recommend a motion to approve and ratify GSWMD payroll earnings for period ending January 1, 2024 through January 14th, 2024, in the amount of $5,239.77.
Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, what is the pleasure of the board?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Is there a second? Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call?
Director Cook. Director Lyles. Director Mabon.
Yes.
Director Morris. Director Allen.
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion passes. Moving on to 2.2. Are there any comments or questions on 2.2?
I just have one question. I noticed the engineering services, the principal charge increase, is that normal? Is that par for the course? Okay.
all our staff. In my particular case, as this district, I do not have the opportunity to charge the district directly. It's great assistance. By professional services.
Any other comments, questions? Hearing none. What is the pleasure of the board?
Second, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and second. Roll call?
Director Cook?
Yes.
Director Lyles?
Yes.
Director Maybon?
Yes.
Director Morris? Director Allen?
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion passes. Moving on. Moving on to 2.3. Are there any comments or questions on 2.3? Hearing none. What is the pleasure of the board for 2.3?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call?
Director Cook? Director Lyles?
Yes.
Director Maybon?
Yes.
Director Morris? Director Allen?
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion passes. For 2.4, I'd like to defer. Is there any comments or objections?
Is there any comment? Is this,
I agree with the deferral.
okay. Is there any deadlines that we should be made aware of for the project? Mr. Attorney, would you?
I'm aware of the April 1st deadline. Chris, is there anything you want to add to this? This is on the Gary Material Award. I can't, while he's stepping up to the podium, I do know that the prices that were included in the bid submitted by Gary Material are continuing to hold solid, so I know that's the case. But go ahead.
That was the only other schedule that I wanted to bring to your attention. The bid document specified that the bidders are required to hold their bid prices for 60 days after the submittal of the bids are read. That occurred on November 16th, at this meeting on November 16th. So that 60-day requirement has expired. We have reached out to the contractor with regard to the schedule for the award of the contract, and to date, there has been no response with regard to, at least to Structure Point, with regard to their interest in holding the bid prices. But that may be something different than what others may know.
Can you please reach out to the contractor and get something in writing specifying that they agree to hold on to their prices?
We can ask them specifically to do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, if there's no objections, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is claims 3.1.
Thank you. Make a motion to approve and ratify GSWMD claim numbers 11 through 16 in the amount of $22,394.55.
Are there any comments or questions? All right, hearing none. What is the pleasure of the board?
Move, Mr. Chair.
Motion's been made and properly second. Roll call?
Director Cook?
Yes.
Director Lyles?
Yes.
Director Maybon?
Yes.
Director Morris? Director Allen?
Yes.
The vote is 5 ayes, 0 noes.
Motion passes. Moving on to information updates, we have Director Brenda Scott Henry.
Good morning, board and attendees. Is it still morning? Good afternoon, board and attendees. So I just have a few things that I want to bring to your attention. First, our MS4 team coordination meeting is scheduled for February 12th. That's next Monday at 1 o'clock. So Mrs. Morris and Director Cook will also be in attendance at that meeting. And that's at 1 o'clock, and we'll make sure you get the notifications. And as usual, you guys know that this is the meeting that we review all of the activities under MCM 1 through 6, and then we just give you update on policies and procedures and things that we're working on. So you'll have that in your board package at the next meeting. We received technical assistance. This is just a little grant that we have for green infrastructure maintenance. So all of the green infrastructure that we've installed to help reduce stormwater runoff, we have this group called OAI. It's a workforce development group who trains individuals how to do green infrastructure maintenance. And they partnered with Stantec, who puts together a maintenance plan for each one of the installations that we have. For example, City Hall Rain Garden, on the Grand Boulevard Rain Garden, Turf to Prairie, all of those green infrastructure sites that we have. So we're working on a maintenance plan, and then we're going to expand that to include a larger vegetation management plan. So you will begin to receive at their next meeting just some kind of overview of what the locations that we are going to target to beautify. And this is to clean up and beautify. As you know, we already do the planters at City Hall, at the Public Safety Building, and some of the parks like the Gateway Park, when you get off 90 onto Broadway, that little area, we do the maintenance there. Sometimes we do the planters all along Broadway. So we will be preparing a package for consideration for the board to review. In addition, as you know, April is this month is African American History Month. See my attire? But in April is Earth Day comes along in April. But we're going to do Earth Month. This is our pollution prevention kickoff. So we will assist the city in some of their blight elimination work, as well as focus on the MS4 areas that are throughout the city where we have these outfalls that discharge directly into the water bodies not treated by GSD, but these are the systems that we are responsible for, and we need to keep as much pollution as possible out of those areas so it doesn't discharge directly into the into the water bodies. So we're going to target everything around pollution prevention for Earth Month, and we'll have a series of activities that happen on a weekly basis. And lastly, and as I mentioned at the last board meeting, that we are required to start updating our ordinance, stormwater ordinance, 79-31. And I've asked Attorney Monroe to come in to be in attendance at our meetings, as well as to give you an update today as to what that process will look like in terms of a timeline. The procedures.
Good afternoon, board, and to the public. The timeline, and I'm just giving something very brief. Time is of essence. That's what I will say that. And the partners that we have are working with is They have talked to us. We're having a meeting tomorrow to discuss what needs to be done as it relates to the ordinance. We have some sample ordinance because there's no reason to recreate the wheel. We're going to use some other ordinances to make sure that Gary is in compliance. So in the next probably month, we should have something to present to the board.
Then once we have the procedure.
I'll let you know.
Okay, okay, and then once we complete the draft of the ordinance and and the board approves of it, then we will have to go through the city's process to get it approved by city council. Why it's important, time is of the essence, is because we have to update the annual report is due in April to IDEM, and they would like us to report out the status of where we are with the ordinance. And we've been given about a year to get this done, but we had to first get past the stormwater quality management plan and the water characterization plan. We were able to do that in November. Now we can move on to the ordinance updates. Okay. Any questions?
Yes. Notice that the Lake County Solid Waste Management District's already put their schedule out, and you're scheduled for June 3rd for Hudson Campbell for the household hazardous waste. Is there any way you can maybe, I don't know what the city's doing as far as city cleanup, but for example, if on a quarterly basis, can we get our street sweepers out, for example, in March or somewhere along that way? Do you set the schedule or do the city set the schedule?
I do not, but our collections department does, and I'm pretty sure if you have any questions for Johnny or Lamingo, they can kind of give you some information on that, how that will work. But if you like, we can have something for you at our next board meeting regarding street sweeping. Okay.
Any other question?
One last question. Maintenance on the green roof.
Oh,
Who's responsible for that?
well, I'm glad you asked, so. I think
Darn it,
that,
there, huh?
I didn't have that in my mind, but I have been having conversations about it. So the purpose of creating that green roof was to manage the stormwater that is at City Hall and to direct those gutters into the rain gardens, which we have sitting there waiting on the water to come to it. Well, the gutter system at City Hall is inside of the wall. We've had it televised, so we know kind of like how things are branching off, what's broken. If I could propose something that would allow us to remedy that problem so that we could actually direct stormwater into the rain system that we've designed there for that purpose, I would love to have the opportunity to do that. I just need your okay.
Does that mean you put gutters on the outside of the building?
We have to come up with, yes, that means that we're gonna have to design something that is aesthetically pleasing to the eye so that we can disconnect that gutter system and direct it into the rain garden.
So if that's the directive that the board gives, we just have to make sure we work on an interlocal agreement because the city owns City Hall, obviously, but we're going to contribute the green infrastructure. We just need to make sure that we do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. That'll go? You guys think about it. I'll bring some proposals.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
All right, thank
Thank you.
you.
Next, we have 4.2 American Structure Point.
Afternoon, Board. John Tucker, Structure Point. Just a brief update on Lake Street. As you're aware, there's no construction happening with the winter right now, but we have been having conversations with the contractor, trying to work on getting their schedule. So I met with them last week. We have a few utilities still to try to get ahead of, meeting with NIPSCO Gas this afternoon, American Water, just to make sure we stay ahead of any of those potential conflicts. So hopefully within, not the next board meeting, probably the following board meeting, we'll have advance notice, a schedule as to what this year is going to look like, trying to get back on schedule, and then also coordination with the bridge job that we have out there. So just wanted to inform the board that those meeting interactions are happening now, even though no activity is happening yet, but trying to stay ahead of when weather is permitted for us to get started. Right now, they're anticipating early to mid-March to resume work out there in that section between Cypress and Hemlock. That's kind of where it's beat up there or not, so get back in that area, start to get the underground in, and then once weather breaks for concrete, asphalt, and what have you. But I'll be able to provide further information on that once I get a schedule from them, but just wanted to make sure, keep the board aware of what's happening as of right now. If there's any other questions or comments, I'd be happy to answer.
What's the percentage of completion?
I would say 35%, somewhere in that range, about a third. We were supposed to get about a half with utility delays. We're probably about 35%.
Okay.
Is the intent to be finally completed this year?
That is still the intent, yes. It's working with the bridge contract, and we have a schedule from them, so contractors kind of come up with a plan right now, but yes, I have not been given any indications that they won't be able to get everything done this year still, so.
And when you say bridge, are you talking about the pedestrian one or?
The Lake County Bridge project.
Okay.
We have to work in conjunction with them, with that also being delayed because of utilities. Yes, we shouldn't have any issues with the pedestrian bridge for the Douglas Center. We're pretty much everything infrastructure-wise complete there. We just have the back of curb hardscape that remains in that area, so.
And, okay, yeah, sidewalk.
Yes, sir.
Any comments, any questions? All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have Robinson Engineering.
Good afternoon, Directors. Ron Smith with Robinson Engineering. Brief update this afternoon. We're working on modifying the drainage design for the Sixth Place project. That is Sixth Place from Lake Street to Howard and on Howard Street from Miller Avenue to Sixth Place. So I just spoke with Cola from the engineering department. So we'll be working together with Cola and Eric on modifying the drainage on the project and getting that out to bid this year. Also, the city of Gary will be doing a roadway resurfacing project as part of the Community Crossings Matching Grant. We'll be coordinating that project like we did last year with the Gary Stormwater District. And just to make everyone aware, as part of the bid documents, we will include drainage structure adjustments. That would be the manholes and also catch basins and or inlets as part of the project. So once we get further along in the design, we'll be making sure that we get those lists of streets over to the district to make sure that there are no conflicts. And then also make sure we keep you in the loop of any pre-bid meetings, pre-construction, so forth and so on. So that way all the information is passed through. That concludes my report this afternoon. I'll entertain any questions that the directors may have.
Do you have an anticipated start date?
For the roadway resurfacing project?
Yeah.
April, May. The end of May, like June 1st, so.
Okay.
That is the tentative schedule, so I will be going over there with that schedule with Mr. Allen, so. But we do have a tentative date set for design and also for bidding the project out. What we want to do is get the project out to bid as soon as possible, so that way we won't be paving roadways in November. All right?
Nobody wants that.
All right.
Any other comments, questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to discussion. Are there any items that any members or directors would like to discuss? Okay, hearing none. Do we have any requests to speak? Okay. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
All right, meeting adjourned.